Hi, I'm Angela Hultberg. I'm a Global Sustainability Director with Carney, and I'm here in Baku at COP29 with Anna Augustson, who's the Head of Group Sustainability at Telia Company. Anna, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So can you tell us and the audience a little bit about Telia Company? Who are you? What do you do?
Yes, the Telia Company is a telecommunications operator acting in the northern part of Europe, basically in 5 Nordic and Baltic countries, so like Sweden, Finland, Norway, Estonia, Lithuania, and also in Latvia. And we have a revenue of around 8 billion euros per year and 25 million customers in this area of the world. And we serve mobile customers, fixed telecommunications customers, also TV customers. And we also have operations in IT and security for corporate customers. Yes.
I have to admit, I am a customer of yours. So that's what...
Yes, actually, we usually say that we have a relationship with approximately half of the Swedish population, actually, either for mobile communications, fixed or TV.
I am definitely part of that half. So tell me, being a tele company, how do you work with sustainability?
Yes, so we work, of course, both with the environmental part and the social part. And we have been working for a long time, since the late 90s, I would say, with the impact from our own operations, looking a lot into how we build and run our networks. So we run and build and maintain networks in all these countries where we are active. Recently, we have started focusing on Scope 3, meaning all our suppliers, moving beyond the closest subcontractor area, which we have worked with for a long time, but now also looking further away in the supply chain, so to speak. We are also learning a lot about circularity and are offering our customers circular offerings. And I think that important for us is also to make sure that this climate transition is done in a fair and inclusive way. So we also focus actually on digital inclusion to make sure that our customers and the population in our countries can also use and take advantage of the digital services that we provide. And for us also privacy and security is really important, and also equality issues. And we think these are also growing in importance, likewise the climate transition.
Yeah, it really is. You're absolutely right, and I like that focus also on inclusion from a digital perspective. I think that's something that we don't always think about, how much of our world now has as a prerequisite that you have access to and understand and can handle the digital sphere. So out of all the things you do, and you listed quite a few, right? So a hard question, but what would you say you're the most proud of? Like if someone asks you, tell me one good thing that Telia has done for people and planet, what would you say?
Okay, so that was a hard one to say only one, but I think then the biggest impact we have had so far is actually changing to running our networks by 100% renewable electricity. That does have a big impact. And what I'm specifically proud of here is that actually our biggest operation, which is in Sweden, started that already in year 2007. So we have a good record from that perspective. And then in 2020, we moved to renewable electricity for the whole operations in all our markets. So I think that that's a thing to be really proud of. But if I may mention a few other things, I think we have also reduced the emissions from our own operations by already 87% compared to our baseline in 2018. And I think that's something to be proud of. We have a 90% target in 2030 for own operations, and I'm quite comfortable that we will reach that. We have already in 2019, I think we were quite early, started on a supplier engagement program actually demanding our suppliers to set science-based targets also, because that was something that we did ourselves, and we thought it was important also to bring our suppliers to join us on this journey. Already in 2019, we identified the suppliers as key for our change. So we have been talking to them since then to set science-based targets. 56% of our emissions in the supply chain are now covered by science-based targets or equivalent, so to say. And we also have ourselves set a science-based net zero target for 2040. I think these were a couple of things that I'm proud of.
Okay, so that wasn't one, but I'll allow it. But of course, I think we've been speaking to other companies here, and exactly what you're saying is what many have brought up. If everyone just lowered their own scope 1 and 2, then we wouldn't have to worry so much about scope 3 emissions. So I'm sure your customers are very happy about the reductions you've made, and they are quite impressive. The focus of this COP specifically is really around financing, right? And we've talked a lot about the Global South, supporting with finance to, or the North to the South. We've talked a lot about private-public partnerships and investors. But looking at it from a pure business perspective, right? From the Telia company, how are you investing real euros or Swedish kronor into the transition to becoming a green business? And also a little bit, what's the mindset behind that? Like, why are you spending money on this?
Yes, I think that I want to go back to the reason for us for actually providing digital services to our customers. And as we see digitalization being an enabler for climate change as well, for other companies and for consumers to reduce their own climate impact. I think that actually the investment in our networks is probably the biggest investment for the climate. And we spend more than €1 billion per year in building our networks and making them as good as efficient. Now we focus on 5G, of course, mainly for our corporate customers, of course. So I think that's a really important thing that we as telecommunications companies contributing with. And while building this, we have a great focus on building it in a very sustainable way. So that's why I want to highlight that as an investment for the climate and the transition. Although it is not taxonomy eligible yet, but we hope it will become in the future. Apart from this, then, as I mentioned, we run our networks on renewable electricity. We invest in circular offerings and processes on how to handle and offer our customers device as a service and refurbished phones and setting up processes for that. And then also spending time initiating partnerships with our suppliers and with customers for innovation in the area.
And I have to say, listening to the conversations here, a lot of it today is around technology, digital solutions, and the support that businesses need. So I'm sure there's a lot of companies here that are quite, very happy about these investments, because it's clear that a lot of the transition will rely on these digital solutions. Final question, because we are at COP. We could talk about this for days, but at last we don't have that much time. What do you hope to see coming out of this COP? I mean, we're reaching the end of it. So if you had a wish list for results from COP29, what would they be?
Basically, I think there's one main important thing with this, and that is that it's happening, that it is a conversation ongoing, and that we get also media attention, that companies always, at least once a year, have the reason to talk and think about these issues, and also we as private persons. But what really matters, I think, for companies coming out of this is great commitments from the states and the nations. So if they show leadership, if they make commitments, I think it's much easier for us as a company also to do that. And we share the goals together, and we drive towards them together as companies and the states. And also, I think that there are a number of companies who take this seriously, but there is also a long tail who hasn't really started yet. And if the nations and the states show leadership and commitment, I believe that we will also see much more movements among more companies as well.
I will second that wish, I have to say, and let's hope that we see some real solid leadership coming out of COP. Anna, thank you so much for joining us today and giving our viewers a lot to think about, and thank you for all the great work you and Telia does. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.